Well, the Duke of Sussex has been a very good uncle to three young children from his brother and sister-in-law. And I think that remembering his own childhood and his much-loved mother and the sense of being a father, and especially after being a soldier, that whole aspiration to settle down. He found somebody he madly loves, and I think every one of us who understands that passion and delight that you find in another person, the obvious process after a wedding like that glorious one we all saw at Windsor, is that this should finally come to pass, the first child in a family. And it is something I think when you watch and see two people with their first child, the delight is always so real. It's a sort of realization of every element of why they are together and what is so natural about that happenstance.
As we've been speaking to you, we've been reporting Sky sources, but Buckingham Palace has now officially announced that the Duchess of Sussex has gone into labour. And Alistair, royal commentator and an expert in all things royal, seventh in line to the throne. Does this mean this baby's chances of ever really getting there are very, very slim, aren't they?
Well, one hopes not, because the implication, of course, is so profound. I think that the nature of a hereditary monarchy is that there is a security and constancy established by the order of succession. But on the whole, there are no great surprises, and the eldest son of the eldest son or the eldest child of the eldest son goes on to become sovereign, as we now have after the Succession to the Crown Act. I would imagine that there is very little likelihood. In fact, as time goes by, the children of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will become moderately less and less relevant as the nation will focus on any children that Prince George has and that Prince George's children have, because that's the nature of how the process works. But for now, it's really exciting that for the Queen, another great-grandchild, and for the royal family, another new life to celebrate, and for the nation too, who feel a certain element of ownership of the royal family. It's a sense that there is indeed another child coming into that great story.
And not an HRH because so far down the line?
Well, George V wrote a very clear set of instructions in 1917, which restricted the prefix Royal Highness to the children and grandchildren of the sovereign. So at birth, this child is a great-grandchild and therefore will take the style and title of the child of a Duke and Duchess. And we'll see if it's a boy or if it's a girl, which of those styles and titles they'll take. But in due course, the child of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be the grandchild of a sovereign, because after the demise of the Queen, there will be a new king, and then they will become Royal Highnesses. But that's really up to the family, because for Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex and Forfar, his two children are entitled to be Royal Highnesses, but they don't call themselves that. I think partly because the parents felt it would be easier in life not to be burdened by that kind of name.